All right, this one is going to be a hard episode to rewatch for us. Yeah, it's been a really hard 4 months for us, and we haven't really been able to say anything up until this moment. And yeah, we kind of stopped filming a lot, so we kind of have to fill in quite a lot of gaps and explain a few things. But first, we'll allow you to go and watch what has happened, and then we'll explain more. Right, we're getting lifted up so that we can install the rudder and anti-foul the last little bits where they have the stands, and also under the keel.
It's splash day today, baby!
Woohoo!
This is probably the most nervous splash we've ever had.
I agree.
We've done so much to, like, obviously all the 3 holes, played around with the cutlass bearing, the burp seal, taken so much things off.
Yeah, so many things that you can have water intrusion or can burst.
Everything but the keel underneath.
Yeah. Didn't sound good at all. So we just heard some concerning creaks when they just tried to lift it then. So now we're a bit worried. Looks like they're moving where they originally had it, but...
This was a fast hour. We were told about an hour coming to do this. They were
and then
here
they're just...
10 minutes later.
That looks like too far back though, doesn't it? I wish I got that on film. Why is it making so much cracking noise?
Take the ladder down.
Yeah. They lifted back here, and then I noticed like a big dip in the hull, like where it went upwards, which is not good.
There was no structural support for the fiberglass, and so the fiberglass was flexing in.
Yeah, which it's cracking too, so that's not good. It's dipping in, isn't it? Is it doing it on the other side? Go have a look. It's still dipping in a bit, but was worse. It was worse before, but yeah.
Can you tell him to stop? We're just gonna go have a look. I want to have a look.
Sure, you can go and
Okay, so now you've seen what has happened. It's not looking very good at all. We know we're going to have questions about why they kept trying to lift our boat after hearing the initial cracks and why we allowed them to keep lifting it. Because even when we look back at that, we just kind of think, why let them continue to keep going? Clearly something wasn't right.
No, but actually, he was like, it's normal to hear that sound. I remember vividly, because I was like, that doesn't sound normal to me.
Yeah, and we kind of trusted, like, in their, you know, it's their professional skill. We'll trust what they say, even though it didn't really sound right. And he kind of didn't even, like, ask us necessarily if we wanted to stop lifting. He kind of just kept trying, and it, like, kind of took us a minute to really kind of grasp what was going on.
Yeah, and also there's a huge language barrier. We speak English, they speak French and Spanish.
We were trying to get friends to come over and translate for us, or people that we knew in the yard that talked both languages, and in that time they were continuing to move the pads and to keep trying to lift the boat. And then we were kind of saying, if you're going to try and lift it, maybe you should try here where there's actually a bulkhead. And then they couldn't lift it in the area that we asked them to, and then it obviously got to a point where we realised that something definitely wasn't right, and we asked them to stop so we could go and have a look inside. Oh man, oh, my adrenaline's pumping. They just lifted us again, and it was really bad cracking sounds while we were inside, and we just had to go scream out at them to stop. And we're leant over to one side right now, and I'm not sure if that's because it's cracked so badly that it's basically like the pad is like going into our boat, but the sound is not good. So looks like we're not going back in the water today. Fuck.
We're very unbalanced.
Because they moved it and it's weaker, and so it was.
Yeah, it's literally going into the boat. It's like inverting. Like, what have they got? What's happening now? The pad's still on?
No, yeah, the stands are down. Let me go see if I can grab Jack.
Because we're like, we're fully on one side now, like that. What's going on, darling?
They've cracked the grid.
Fuck me.
It's all cracked through here.
Can you see it? Darling, you're gonna have to just chill the fuck out. Careful of that floor. I know you're angry.
Go this.
I know you're angry. Don't make anything worse than it has to be.
This just fully lifted up like this here.
Oh, you can see.
How much water?
So you can see it's crack. You can see the cracks. Looks like we're not going back in the water, guys. We might not be crossing the Pacific.
It may not be the grid, it's just the position they've got it in.
But they've done damage, darling. They've done damage to the hull. That's why it's all cracking. The hull has flexed. So whether it's the grid or not, there's damage that needs to be fixed. And I don't even know how the fuck you fix that. It's literally like, it's the shell of the boat. Like, it's not stuff that can just easily be replaced.
Yeah, they put it on a soft, like a flexible spot there. Here, can you go
Yeah,
back?
and you think they're going to take responsibility for that? They're going to do anything they can not to take responsibility for that.
Look, this floor here
I'm filming.
is up. Look at that.
Oh my god. That's not screwed in, but that shouldn't be... That shouldn't matter, should it?
No.
Because it's not the actual strut. Yeah, can you take a video? We just need it anyway.
All the grid's lifted.
Yeah, I think the answer is you go down, we tell them, chalk us up like we're not moving, and you need to come in and inspect this, or we'll get a survey because shit's not good. Like, that's the bottom line. Oh, maybe they're actually doing it right now. Chill.
You better just go out there and
Yeah.
see if we can get someone to help translate right now.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, it's not good news, but we just got to deal with
We're
it.
also now on a lean.
Yeah, we are. while we were inside trying to kind of inspect what was going on, they continued to try lifting our boat while we were inside our boat. Now looking back at the clips, I think I realised that our friend that was translating asked if we could go and have a look, but didn't translate that we said stop. And so they kind of continued to lift us, which they shouldn't have done while we were inside the boat anyway. And then, yeah, that's when it just got worse. The cracking sounds from inside the boat were a whole lot more loud, and we had to scream out the boat to tell them to stop.
But yeah, you should be definitely lifting on a bulkhead, not in the middle of nothing.
Yeah. Anyway, we asked them to stop, chock us back up on the stands so that we could inspect the damage properly.
Right. Because that's not, technically, that's not part of the grid here. I want to see underneath this. There's a crack all the way through there. Where this thing is here. This isn't structural, but underneath obviously is.
Yeah, it's like, well, what about all the sounds that we just heard? Especially how loud it was in here. Like our floor, this plastic shell should not be bloody breaking.
Did you see how high that lifted here?
I didn't see it, I just heard it.
It lifted like this high.
Oh my God.
Like obviously you get movement when you haul in and out, but
you shouldn't be having damage. Like no, it shouldn't be damage.
It shouldn't be cracking this and...
It's cracked the cupboard, look at it. It's actually cracked the wood.
Yeah. I need to get that fuel tank out. Hey, there's a hole just here that we might be able to stick our head in and have a look. Just there.
I've just rotated all over.
What's that?
That's one of your through holes, or I don't know. I think that's mount or through hole or something. I'm pretty sure I'm pointing aft there.
Oh. That does look good.
No, that doesn't.
Show me. Ooh. Oh God. Yep. Let's come away.
Grab your little...
Which direction do you reckon that was?
I think forward.
Okay, so after we inspected the initial damages that we could see without obviously pulling the whole cabin apart, decided to go in and talk to the yard owners just to tell them what we found, give them a chance to come and have a look at it themselves and try to work out what the next steps were. We've obviously never been through something like this before, so we also contacted our insurance just to see kind of what we should do. We didn't obviously want to make a claim on our side because we didn't believe it was anything of our fault. However, we wanted to just ask them, I guess, their advice on what the next steps would be. And yeah, after going and talking to the owner, we did end up coming to an agreement that they would
fix the boat.
Yeah,
repair the boat.
Repair.
Get their fiberglass person to fix the boat.
So we agreed he would come over and take a look at the damages and I guess see what needed to be fixed. When looking at the hull, we could basically see where the pad marks were because obviously we had fresh anti-foul. Pads are a little bit dirty, so they kind of left like a bit of an imprint along the boat. And so we went down and had a good look at basically where the pads had been placed. You can see here where the dirt marks are. The pad was here on this side, and then a bit harder to see on this side. It's not actually showing it on this side. Oh, it is. Yeah, it's so far off, it's not even funny.
Well, remember there were multiple attempts.
Yeah, but like there's
pad location.
Yeah, but there should be marks. There should be marks from every time, right? So like there's no marks in this far on this side. Yeah. They're all so far up the side, it's not even funny.
Oh wow, yeah. That is drastic.
Yep. Completely uneven. Upon looking at this, I found a crack line on the hull. What's going on, hun?
Well, Janae had an amazing eye. She was looking at the pad lines where they put the pads, and literally right at the very front of the pad, there was a small little hair crack line here. We've just sanded back. And
we weren't sure if it was just the paint, but...
Yeah, we've just sanded back and it's actually through. The hairline crack actually goes through the fiberglass here, so...
We don't know how far it goes, if it goes all the way through the other side, but it's not good news.
We just wanted to sand it back. The yard's supposed to be doing the repair, or to see if there's any damage, and there's definitely damage. But that stretches literally the whole line of the pad here. So like from here to here. So
The pad was bigger than that, but yeah. But it's like where the curve is, where it would have taken the brunt of the force, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good news. I've just found, it's probably really hard to show on camera, but lots of tiny little, like not long lines. It goes a bit further too. All here, so we're gonna send that back. There you go, you can see the most obvious one just there. Yeah, it was kind of like a straight crack. Like it was decent, it was a decent line, but we just didn't know if it was like superficial and just went through the paint or if it went all the way through. All right, so the guys are here just inspecting the hull and they're going to grind back some areas because obviously, like we said, we found the crack here and then we found a lot of small areas that we want to check out. So when their fiberglass guy came over to have a look at everything, we asked him if he could grind/sand it back a little bit just to see how deep it goes. I think they see anything there, or?
Yeah, there is.
Really?
You'll see lamination on that other one, so
and they ended up grinding all the way through our hull and created 3 holes about this big in the hull, in which a little bit of water was released. We figured out when we did the Atlantic crossing that there's some areas where if you have water leak in from somewhere, they don't reach the bilge and they actually just get trapped in our grid, like a grid system in the boat. And so we know that there's always like a small amount of water that gets trapped in there from things like when we, open the water maker filters and a little bit of water comes out, or all sorts of small things. Humidity in the boat as well, so it all builds up kind of in that shell, and some water was released from there. Then obviously their belief was that we had a pre-existing condition because we had some water released from inside the hull. And yeah, that's where everything basically went downhill. We went and talked to the yard owners. Oh, did you have a bad dream?
what happened there?
He had a bad dream. The yard owners refused to pay for the damages because they believed that we had a pre-existing condition, and even though we believed that we didn't, we decided we would get a independent survey so that they could come and assess the damage and the probable cause of the damage, because of course if there was something wrong with our boat, we were prepared to take responsibility for that and pay for the repairs ourselves.
We just wanted to know if it was us or if it was from the lift.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, 100%. We're not trying to put blame on anyone for anything we think is not their fault. So anyway, a few days later to a week later, the surveyor came to inspect the boat.
See, it's all cracked through here. That's all like new fiberglass cracking.
We're just locked up.
So in the meantime, we were in contact with our insurance, and basically they were telling us if they are refusing to pay for the damages, we can try and get their insurance contact details and their policy number, and we can contact their insurance to put in a claim. And so we were kind of going back and forth with our insurance, trying to find the information out from the yard, and the yard were being not very nice at all to us. You know, we were being very understanding about everything, very friendly still, just trying to kind of work together to come to some kind of agreement. And after trying to go and talk to her and her completely ignoring us, being quite rude, we decided that from now on it would be best to deal with everything over message and email so that we had a paper trail, and hopefully she would be responsive to us. And yeah, that kind of
Wasn't the case.
Yeah, that was also very hard. I tried to ask for her insurance details, policy number and everything for weeks without, she basically just would ignore those parts of the message. She would sometimes respond, but would always ignore that question. Eventually I finally got those details, but
A month later, probably.
yeah, it took a long time. So I will try and find the survey report. About 3 to 7 days later, we received our damage report from the independent surveyor. They were really good. They were really professional, extensively looked at the damage. We also sent them video, photo evidence, a statement of what happened on the day, and this is what their conclusion was. Cause of loss. Based on the inspection, multiple areas of delamination were identified on the hull shell and internal structural components, together with associated cracking and localized deformation requiring repair. The distribution and nature of the observed damages are consistent with the application of abnormal or uneven loads acting on the hull structure. No evidence of recent impact, grounding, or previous structural repairs were identified in the affected areas at the time of inspection. Contributing factors. Improper or uneven load distribution applied to the hull during handling operations, resulting in localized stress concentrations. Inadequate support at structurally reinforced areas, example bulkheads or frames, leading to insufficient load transfer. And lack of verification of hull support configuration prior to and during the operation. And then basically they've given us the recommended repairs to be done. Yeah. So this is an independent survey. This is not someone that's biased, and this was the probable cause of the damage.
So we sent that to the yard because they asked. They're like, oh, just get a survey then.
So we said we would get a survey, and we allowed them. We said, if you would like to get a surveyor, that is completely fine. We understand that, you know, we're going to have a surveyor, you're going to want your own surveyor. And basically they looked at us and said, it's your boat, it's your problem.
Yeah.
You get a surveyor. And so I don't think they really understood what we were trying to say. We were trying to be fair about everything because we had nothing to hide.
And then after that, they contacted their insurance, and then this is where the long process started.
They ended up having, I don't know if it was a surveyor or someone coming to do some kind of inspection from their insurance.
Good morning, guys. We are still stuck in the boatyard. Just to give you guys a bit of an update, we had a surveyor come in to assess the damage to see if it was pre-existing or basically the yard's fault where they put the pads and try to lift us. And so we got our own surveyor to come in and do that. The only certified surveyor that we could find on the internet in Panama. The survey report came back saying it was basically the yard's fault, the lift and everything. And today they have got their own surveyor to come in, I guess like a counter surveyor in a way, like an insurance counter surveyor. We just want to show you guys the process of what actually happens in this situation because it's not ideal. We're pretty devastated about it, and yeah, I feel like we're going to be the ones worst off either way, whatever happens, because we're stuck in the boatyard for one.
We've already wasted time.
Yeah, we're wasting valuable time. We just want to be in the water at the end of the day, and this process is most likely going to be very slow, but we will let you guys know what happens. We're going to try and film as much as we can today because he's going to probably talk a different language, so we just want to get audio of it and everything.
For also our own documentation, not just for, obviously,
you guys.
Yeah, YouTube. But yeah, obviously we've never been through any kind of situation like this before. So yeah, it's all new to us and we're just trying to figure it out as we go. I also wanted to add, the boatyard's been pretty difficult to deal with so far. First of all, when we tried to go and talk to her together, she shut down and like not wanting to talk, and then Jason went back to talk to her another time and she completely shut down and ignored him and walked away from him.
She talked to me at the start. She was in the shop and there was people in the shop, and she decided to talk to everyone else for 40 minutes, and then she said, I'm going to lunch, and just walked off on me.
Yeah, which is
So
very
she just
unprofessional.
doesn't want to handle the situation, which is not right. We're just trying to do everything the right way. And
We were trying to, have communication with them and sort it out like they initially wanted to internally, and we gave them the chance to do that. And yeah, because they were being so, unresponsive and whatever, we decided that we would just keep everything else on record from now on. So we've been doing everything over WhatsApp message because they don't answer emails either. We've now involved our insurance, who, even though it's not a claim with our insurance, they can chase their insurance because we obviously think they're at fault. So we'll see how we go from here today, I suppose.
yeah, also, Janae is going home today. So Janae has decided not to do the Pacific crossing. I don't know if we've talked about this, but we got smashed during the Colombian crossing, and she's just kind of had enough with the big crossing. She likes the island hopping and stuff like that, but I don't blame her. We had a pretty harsh Atlantic crossing, and that one also wasn't the best. So
Yeah, I did decide quite a while ago I didn't want to do the Pacific, but my thinking at the time was if you do need someone and you get stuck, I will do it. But then after the US to Colombia, I just drew a line and was like, there's no way I'm doing it. Like, I'm sorry, but I just can't do it.
I really enjoy doing the long passages. I love them. And
You do, I don't. That's the difference.
that is the difference. And
Yeah.
then I've got Tom on board. He's been such a help. He obviously wants to do the crossing. And then
Yeah, he's a great person to have for the crossing too. As we've seen from our US to Colombia, he's very level-headed. They kind of work together as a team, and we've spent quite a lot of time together now, so he's like the perfect person to have. Anyway, more on that later, I suppose. We just have to see what the hell's going on here first. As Jean-Paul doesn't say a word. It's like we said hola. Nothing back, hey? Nothing. I didn't get anything back.
no.
Can you imagine saying that? Someone saying that to you and you're just ignoring them? I just wouldn't be like that with anyone. Do you know what? I get sick of just being the nice person. I get sick of it. I get sick of getting walked all over.
Just remember, we're not doing anything wrong.
I know, that's why I'm saying why do I feel I have to be nice?
Oh, we said hello, like hola, to both of them. And then Jean-Paul
Just ignored by
us.
Jean-Paul.
Both of us. We both said hola.
And I just said I get sick of being the bloody nice person.
I know.
We removed everything again from the cabin so he could come and have a look at the damages, and basically he took a few photos of the outside of the hull, never came inside our boat to have a look, and then the owners told us that they would be using our photos from our survey report for their report, which we found really odd. Then basically we waited an entire month only to be told that their insurance is closing the case. They have evidence that we have a pre-existing condition. We were never given a chance to send in our survey report. We were never given a chance to put witness statements in, anything of our own. I was asking for the report from the yard owners for an entire month over text message, and they just kept delaying and delaying. Then they came to me and said that there's been incorrect statements made and they need to make changes to the report, so then we couldn't look at it again, which sounds dodgy, obviously. Yeah, so we were just stuck in the yard waiting because we didn't want to go ahead with repairs because we didn't want to tamper with evidence that might be needed to be inspected, and also we didn't have the money to do it. We were now building up a couple of month long yard bill. We now had these repairs that we didn't know who was paying for what. So yeah, just the whole thing turned into a disaster, basically. So many things have happened in the meantime. We haven't filmed much. It's been a really crappy time. We realised that we couldn't cross the Pacific, so we've missed the Pacific crossing window. We tried to apply for a long-term visa for French Polynesia because we thought there might be an option there to sail to French Polynesia and not continue the crossing and just stay there until next season. We got denied for that because we didn't have enough savings in the bank, which we didn't realise how much we actually needed. Then we got some advice of Jason's sister, who is an insurance advisor, and she gave us some advice to put in a claim with our insurance and pay the excess, and then at least we can move along with repairs and all of the other costs involved, and
They can basically chase their insurance, the yard's insurance.
so at least we could move on. We obviously have to pay the excess, and then we can move along, and then hopefully we'll get the excess and the insurance cost, like the repair cost back.
Little did that turn out that that's not going to happen because our insurance isn't covering us either.
I'll get up the email with the exclusion that they're using, saying that we are not covered, and kind of explain a little bit more from there. When we first lodged our insurance claim, the insurer's initial position was that the damage wasn't covered under our policy. At first, we weren't sure whether that was correct, but after Jason's sister looked through the policy wording, she pointed out that the exclusion the insurer was relying on didn't seem to match the circumstances of our claim. That was when we started digging into the policy more. Our policy provides cover for accidental loss or damage to the vessel, and there was no dispute about how the damage occurred. The insurer accepted our independent survey's findings that the damage happened during the lifting process. After a lot of back and forth with the insurer, it became clear that the entire dispute centered around one word: defect. The insurer relied on an exclusion that states they won't cover the cost of making good any defect arising from any repair, alteration, or maintenance work carried out on the vessel. Our interpretation was fairly simple. We understood that exclusion to apply where a repair, alteration, or maintenance job creates a fault or defect in the boat itself. For example, if a repair is carried out incorrectly or maintenance creates a fault that wasn't there before, that could reasonably be described as a defect arising from maintenance work. Our claim wasn't for the cost of fixing a defect. Our claim was that the boat suffered accidental structural damage during the lifting process. The insurer saw it differently. In one of their emails, they explained that they considered a defect to mean any flaw or shortcoming that impairs the function, quality, or value of the vessel. Based on that interpretation, they considered the structural damage itself to be a defect because it impaired the vessel. That was where we fundamentally disagreed. To us, calling accidental damage a defect stretched the ordinary meaning of the word. If a travel lift accidentally damages a hull, most people would describe that as accidental damage, not a defect. The insurer also argued that because the boat was being lifted out of the water for routine maintenance, the lifting process itself formed part of that maintenance work. Their view was that because the damage occurred during that process, the exclusion applied. We found that surprising because routine haul-outs are a normal part of boat ownership. Boats have to be lifted from the water for anti-fouling, inspections, and other essential maintenance. That's simply part of maintaining a boat, and actually expected. We exchanged a number of emails with the insurer explaining why we believe that exclusion didn't apply to the circumstances of our claim. The insurer considered our arguments several times but ultimately maintained their interpretation. They told us they believed there was nothing further they could add and offered to issue a formal denial letter so that if we wished, we could obtain legal advice and challenge their interpretation of the policy. In the end, this wasn't a disagreement about how the damage happened. It wasn't even a disagreement about who caused it. It was a disagreement about how the wording of the policy should be interpreted and whether that wording applied to the circumstances of our claim. There's basically no point in having insurance at this point. We do maintenance every year or two on our vessel, we pull it out of the water, and now we know that we are not covered when we do this.
Who knows what we're covered for?
Yeah, at this point, we're rethinking insurance altogether. We will get third-party insurance so that we can go into marinas and we're covered against, any accidents that happen with other people and other boats. But at this point, insurance just isn't worth it for us because, when the time comes that we now need it, we're not covered. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, we've been stuck basically for the last 4 months in the boatyard. Jason's been stuck. I actually got to come home for 2 months. We kind of missed one big thing as well because I've now explained what's happened over the last 3.5 months, but about 2 to 4 weeks after this happened with all the boat damage, then this happened.
Alright, we are on the hard stand and it is pissing down rain here and we've just been cracked by lightning. Lights are still working in the boat. Well, some lights are still working. These aren't working now. Oh, these are working?
No.
Oh, one works.
And then do the others, they're all fried. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Lights are turning on and off.
The fans are still working. The Raspberry Pi is out.
Fuck. All our electronics were off, so I'm hoping it's not affected our electronics. Oh man, this sucks. I've just turned the inverter off. The inverter still looked like it was working. I don't want to test it now. I'm going to wait for it to come over. Yeah, I can smell.
There's something.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to see if we can fix it. All right, for those of you that don't know Tom,
Oi!
he is a computer wizard. So he's probably giving me a virus over here. I don't know what he's doing, but what are you doing there, Tom?
Well, I'm trying to fuck around with your...
Hey, language.
Oh, language. Language is an issue. I'm trying to see if we can get your Raspberry Pi to process the NEMA 0183 network data.
Yeah.
We're trying to hotwire into the autopilot since the entire CTalk network is fried, but it looks like maybe the NEMA's fine. Who knows? But,
very good.
Trying to see if we can control the autopilot and feed it data and send it commands
Via Raspberry Pi.
The Raspberry Pi. But right now, things don't look to be reading properly.
So far we have figured out that our wind transducer, which we just bought in the USA, has gone kaput. 4 of our 8 instruments upstairs have gone kaput. Autopilot computer, the AIS, the Raspberry Pi, we're borrowing a friend's Raspberry Pi at the moment. Wireless remote for the windlass, that's gone.
Also, I'm pretty sure the chain counter also got fried in that process.
Chain counter. It's crazy because I don't think we got a direct hit. Next door neighbours actually got a direct hit, but we were sharing the same power line. I don't know if that affected it, or I'm not a lightning wizard. It could have somehow hit them and then spread to us. I don't quite know how it worked, but good morning. Yesterday wasn't the most ideal day. We're just getting the boat close to ready, sorting out insurance and everything, and we got struck by lightning. Tom and I are trying to go through all the electronics. So yeah, we're just trying to work out if the wind anemometer we just bought still works or not, or if it's the instruments themselves that are kaput. But yeah, man, it's I guess that's the third thing major that's gone wrong, so hopefully we shouldn't have a problem after this. But, oh man. Alright, we have another huge storm coming this way. So we're going to try and ground our shrouds to the earth. So hopefully it just fries this wire and doesn't go through our electronics. This is the longest wire we have to do it. This is, we'll put these all together so it makes the wires a bit thicker. But this is, they're all 10 gauge each. So don't know what that works out to be. But yeah, we're just going to try ground it to earth in case it does strike again. We are in the most active place in the world for lightning strikes, which is definitely not ideal. Pretty sure they say lightning doesn't strike the same place twice, but we will soon find out. But yeah, I feel like we've just been so unlucky lately.
So yeah, obviously we're having a really crappy time, and then to make matters even worse, we were struck by lightning.
What's the saying when
it rains it pours?
Yeah, when it rains it pours, and it was pouring those last few months. So yeah, when lightning strikes, a lot of your electronics fail, and in our case, a lot of our electronics failed. We don't have an autopilot now. Our AIS is gone. I've got a whole list of everything. It was crazy. It's like when it struck, all our lights just went kapow. And it was so loud and so out there. I didn't really know what was going on. Like, I knew something serious happened, and then yeah, it just kind of all clicked. I'm like, oh my God, what else is gone? Just off the top of my head, we don't have an alternator anymore, so we can't charge the batteries when we run the engine. The AIS, we don't have a wind transducer, autopilot, the autopilot computer, the autopilot controller.
The depth.
Yes.
And we can't read the wind, like the control, the tridata instrument doesn't work.
A lot of the instruments don't work. We've got 8 instruments and maybe 2 of them work, and they all talk together. They're all like intertwined together. So we've had to remove all the bad ones and just keep the 2 good ones that work. And the worst thing is we also just did this massive upgrade on our electronic system for it all to just go kaput.
Yeah, for the Pacific crossing.
Yeah.
The other things that we lost were, which obviously aren't as important, you can go without, but it's still frustrating, the water tank sensors. So now we don't know how full or empty our water tanks are. We still haven't fixed the lights. We've got a bunch of lights to get, which is not obviously a big deal. But yeah, all in all, it is thousands of dollars worth of equipment. We don't want to spend any more money on this boat because we probably have overspent as it is trying to make this kind of off-grid for what our boat is worth.
Well, we just spent so much money getting it ready to cross the Pacific, and now...
And also so we didn't have to spend any more money and we were just going to be done with it. And
I feel like we're at the point where, like, that was it. We're good. We don't have to do anything more to this boat, and we can just enjoy it. But yeah, something just, you know, doesn't want us to, I guess...
cross the Pacific.
I don't know. Maybe it was a sign.
It's been a really hard time, but sometimes you kind of do think, oh, well, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe we'll figure it out later. But yeah, it has been a bit of a crappy time. Obviously, made more crappy by the fact that we don't have the finances to just be like, cool, let's just pay for this now and then we'll just worry about it later. That's what obviously makes everything a lot harder. We are on a budget. You know, we only expected to be in that yard for a week or two, and now we've got a 3.5, 4 month yard bill to pay. We have the repairs to pay for. We are still trying to, I guess, fight their insurance, for lack of a better word. We don't know how that's going to go. They're obviously being really difficult as well. We feel like we're stuck in a bit of an unfair situation where we haven't had a chance to even show them like our survey report and people that saw it happen and the damages and video evidence and everything that we've got, and they have used the yard's statement that they have made where they didn't come and inspect the boat. They only had people, like witness statements from people that internally work in the yard. The fiberglass guy internally works within the yard. It's in his best interest to, you know, agree with the yard because he gets his work from them. They should have had an independent survey report on their side, and they haven't been very fair. We believe that their statement has blatant lies in it. Yeah, it's just really not been fun. It's really not fun when people just don't do the right thing. All we wanted was them to do the right thing, and now we've kind of been stuffed over in the process. So yeah, we don't know where things are going from here. Everything's a bit up in the air. We're not crossing the Pacific now, and yeah, our kind of life's been turned upside down a little bit. But anyway, I'm sure we'll have more updates for you guys soon. And
yeah.
anything else you want to say?
No. Bye.